start tonight with storm damage in central Indiana. Take a look here. These images from Lake Monroe, docks twisted by strong winds, boats broken in the storm. All of this happening overnight at Four Winds Marina. Luckily, nobody hurt there. Take a look at that truck that was upended. However, nearby, a woman at Hardin Ridge Campground was taken to the hospital, we're told, after a tree fell and trapped her. Medics, police, and firefighters all able to rescue that camper. So tonight, everybody's in cleanup mode at Lake Monroe, spending their Sunday picking up the pieces. Our Brandon Schaff is live at the marina. So Brandon, how much damage are we talking about there?
Yeah, good evening, Jenny. And we are talking about a decent amount of damage here at Lake Monroe. This is the Four Winds Marina. You can see this massive tree right next to me, and this is completely uprooted. It is on its side here in the parking lot. Cars could have easily parked here maybe 24 hours ago. That is not the case anymore. You can see how big this tree is. And, you know, this is just one of two scenes where some of these storms really did a decent amount of damage here by Lake Monroe. Take a look at some of these photos too. So we're at Four Winds Marina, but there was also damage over at Hardin Ridge Campground, and that's where you had that tree who fell on a person and pinned them underneath, as you mentioned. And fortunately, that person we can confirm, as you said as well, first responders telling us that that person is in stable condition. They're at the hospital, and that was really, fortunately, the only injury that was reported with these storms that came here into Monroe County last night. This all happening a little bit after midnight, and first responders trying to make sure that everyone was okay. And we also talked with some boaters here at the marina who reacted to those major storms.
It was loud. I mean, stuff was crashing down. All of our, lawn chairs and stuff on bars was blowing around. So, I mean, it was just chaos.
And then all of a sudden you see all the winds and the boat shaking, and you just kind of felt the dock separating.
And according to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, approximately 100 people were stranded on what was the free-floating boat docks here at the marina. But like we said, fortunately, no injuries here. So really good news, and good to hear from those boaters as well, who talked about how, this was a pretty intense situation, but no injuries here at the marina or at the campground. But we'll hear from first responders who were out here trying to make sure that everybody was okay, and we talked to them. We'll hear from them at 11 o'clock. For now, reporting at Lake Monroe, Brandon Schaff, 13 News.
Yeah, such a scary situation for them. And I'm assuming, Brandon, that the tree that you're next to that was uprooted, is that the same tree that we saw those images and video of the car kind of upended as well?
Yeah, it was in this same area. I actually had somebody come up to me and show me a video of that car that had been uprooted, that pickup truck, and it was pushed up by the tree right here. So a pretty intense situation. Very fortunate that no one was hurt in that case.
For sure, for sure. Okay, we'll look for more from you tonight at 11 o'clock as people continue to clean up around Lake Monroe. So 100 people stranded on that dock. I can't imagine, being in your home during a storm is difficult, but when you've got those strong winds on a boat, that's even more scary.
Over a lake or over an open area, and that contributed to a little bit of what we saw. I want to talk a little bit about what this was that moved through. Typical summertime thunderstorm, but a lot of those winds created by a downburst. So let's talk about what that is. Let's go right into it and show you. The storm setup was what we typically see in the summertime. Hot and humid air mass. The air rises, it lifts because it is hot. Think of a hot air balloon. As that rises, eventually all of it begins to condense. Starts to see rain shafts form and start to get a little bit of hail that developed. We had a little bit of that yesterday. This is much cooler and much more dense, and it starts to accelerate towards the ground. That's where things become problematic, because instead of an updraft, now this becomes a downdraft, and as that cold air hits the ground, it spreads out in all directions. directions. And that, just as in this graphic, you see the trees swaying as all of that air hits the ground, has nowhere to go, and spreads out in all directions. That's what we saw, just like what Brandon was showing us with that tree. Now, the storm that moved through Lake Monroe yesterday did have a severe thunderstorm warning as it passed the lake, but really right over the lake is where we started to see that storm collapse. It collapsed right as it moved over the lake. In fact, you can see the core right there, that cold air, that cold rain shaft hitting the ground, and then it spreads out in all directions. In fact, the winds show that. We can see this red spot here that really shows up very well as this all moves farther to the south. You'll see it spread out in all directions. The winds were actually a little bit stronger once it moved to the south. Thankfully, things are much quieter today. We won't have to deal with this afternoon. Radar is quiet. We are watching a couple of stray storms. I'll talk about the chance for more storms coming up.
All right, see you in a few minutes, Rob. Thank you. If you have AES, your energy bill could be going up soon. And starting tomorrow, you can weigh in on the change. So AES is asking the state to raise rates by 13.5% over the next 2 years. But before a final decision, there are public hearings to get feedback. The first is happening tomorrow at the Indianapolis Public Library. Then 3 others are this month across the city. We have a lot more details for you on WTHR.com/SeenOn13. Tonight, Metro Police are investigating a shooting from this morning on the north side that took a boy's life. Police say it happened around 3 a.m. near 21st and Central Avenue. This is a look at the scene. Officers here found a juvenile inside an apartment with a gunshot wound. He died at the scene. Detectives believe the shooting happened at a party in a short-term rental unit, but no witnesses came forward. So now the officers are hoping the community can help solve this case.
Another thing you'll notice is this area is really developed. So a lot of these buildings have cameras on the outside. There's also Dollar General here that's got an outdoor business video camera. So hopefully some of that digital video will be very good for the detectives to use to hopefully line up some witnesses and maybe some suspects.
Anyone with information is asked to give police a call. Of course, we'll keep you posted on any updates. Meanwhile, Metro Police also investigating a shooting on the city's southeast side. This happened just before 7 a.m. in a neighborhood on Finley Avenue. That's near Raymond and I-65. Officers here found an adult who'd been shot. They were taken to the hospital in critical condition. And Metro Police now say 5 people, not 4, were hurt in a shooting Saturday on Browse Avenue on the near northeast side. We told you about this yesterday. That's when officers found 3 victims at the scene and a 4th walked into Community East Hospital. But last night, police say they found a person shot and injured near 38th and Sherman, and investigators believe that victim is also connected to the Browse Avenue shooting. If you have information on this case, again, call Metro Police. Well, now to an update on the homeless encampments in Indianapolis. We've been sharing with you how the city's changing its policy, and now faith groups are stepping up to help as well. Our Ella Rhodes shares why one congregation is committed to the cause.
Congregations across central Indiana joined together in an effort to end chronic homelessness in our community. This Sunday, when congregants at Christ Church Cathedral took communion, they also took a key. Canon Vicar Monique Ellison says they want their church members to have a physical reminder of who to keep in their thoughts and prayers.
How important it is to be good neighbors to our neighbors who are experiencing homelessness.
Christ Church Cathedral is one of many congregations in Indy joining the Streets to Home initiative, raising money and gathering resources for nearly 2,000 people in the city experiencing homelessness, according to the point-in-time count from earlier this year.
We are here to prove that it's possible to make sure that all of our neighbors have safe, sustainable housing.
Streets to Home Indy plans to house 350 people by next summer. Cathedral Dean Gray Lassane says it's more than simply helping thy neighbor.
When all of our neighbors are housed, we are a better community. We are there for each other, and so we encourage people, whether you're a part of a faith community or not, to be a part of this effort.
Besides raising money at his church, they provide hygiene kits with toothbrushes and other essentials for the homeless. Ann Torday, who organizes the items at the church, says even their youngest members put together a snack pack for the homeless.
Basic things that we may take for granted. These people are lacking, and so we can provide a kit to get them through. It's not a lot, but it'll get you through for a week or two.
A reminder to not take for granted something as simple as a key to your home. The Streets to Home initiative says they're working with people who live in the Fountain Square homeless encampment to connect them with housing resources. In Indianapolis, Ella Rhodes, 13 News.
And the Streets to Home Indy overall goal is to end chronic homelessness by 2028. You can find more information on its work right now at WTHR.com. Well, we have some sad news to share tonight about a legendary Hoosier. Gail Cook has died at the age of 91. Gail and her late husband Bill Cook co-founded Cook Incorporated in Bloomington back in 1963. That became the multi-billion-dollar family of companies known as the Cook Group, now a global leader in biotech manufacturing and life sciences. Gail Cook was also a philanthropist and passionate about historic preservation. In fact, she worked on about 70 projects, including the restoration of the West Baden Springs and French Lick resorts.